everybody. I hope everybody's having a lovely weekend so far. Me and Skylar's down here in the woods trying to get some of these logs out that we've got cut. And buddy, let me tell you, we've got some whoppers. That's a steel 046 and 26-inch, or 20-inch bar sitting on that stump there. And this is bottomland pin oak, or some people call it water oak. It's basically a species of red oak. But anyway, it's cut, and it is some kind of big. We lose our prime grade if we cut anything under 10 foot. And the mules like them, the longer the better. 12, you know, is always better if you can. But I've cut this one here. I believe I cut it 10 foot all the way up. It did bust out toward the end. It had a funky top in it, and it busted a little. But we still was able to salvage the logs. But anyway, we've got some big massive logs here. And there was another tree right over here that had some big logs in it, and we've already got them out. I've had Skylar helping me this morning, and it's down here in this bottom, and way up yonder about 100 yards or so is a log truck, and that's where we're staging our logs. And it's starting to rain, it's getting muddy a little bit, so we don't want to tear up the ground. But we was fortunate enough to, my father-in-law allowed us to borrow his tractor to help us get these logs out, because Mr. Thomas is not available to help us with his mules, and my mule just can't pull these big pin oaks by themselves, so there ain't no point in straining nothing. So we got my father-in-law's tractor, Marcy's dad. He allowed us to borrow his tractor, and thank you, Mr. Lance, very much. And we're going to pull these big logs out with it, and it'll be a whole lot easier on everybody. But anyway, I've got Skylar on the tractor right now. He's been packing out logs. I'll show y'all a picture of that, of how he's been doing that. He's been getting some of the smaller logs on the forks. We didn't even harness the mules this morning, because this is all we got to get out is this. And then we've got one more big one up on the hill up there to get. And then we'll be through. So we didn't even bring the mules down this morning. But if I needed them, I'd go get them. But anyway, I've got Skylar in the tractor. He's running the tractor, and that's his thing. He loves running equipment, and he's good at it. So he's helping us with that. And we're gonna hook on and get this big log here. And he's got one more tie in that stack to get over there. It's kind of an ugly thing, but he's got one more log in there to get, and then we're gonna hook on to this big one and get it up the hill. So y'all hang tight with us, and we'll show you how we're doing it. All right, y'all, what we've done is we've set a cradle hitch on this log up here in the front with rings, with grass. I know y'all seen us do that before with the mules. We've done it with the tractor too. And we're trying not to tear up the ground. You know, this little tractor could pull a lot more of what it's doing, but it's getting wet, slick, and we don't want to tear the ground up. You know, as we're coming out this little old bottom here beside this pond, and we just don't want to tear the ground up. But one reason why we elected to use a tractor today, y'all can't tell it, but it's uphill through here. Pretty good little hill. Now, if we was going downhill, my mules could pull this log by themselves. They could do it, but not coming up this hill, they can't. It's just so much harder going uphill. So that's whenever I got in touch with my father-in-law and asked him about borrowing his tractor for a little while. And we don't have very many to do, so it ain't a big deal. But we're thankful to get out this big tree that we've got cut, because we're not going to leave it. And as y'all can see out through there, I mean, we've worked our way up this hill. Right now, we're currently cutting up yonder on the other side of a log truck. But as you can see, you know, we've done pretty good. he's gonna push back some of that brush away from this tree so he can get in here and get these logs. I think he can pick these up with the loader. These logs ain't super huge. I mean, they're a good load. They'd be more than my mules will want going up that hill up there. But the idea of it, you know, today anyway, with it being muddy and everything, we want to save the ground, and we also want to save the mules from having to pull this mess up this hill. It'd just be too hard on them. That's why we're using a tractor today. And y'all, when you're running a business like we're doing, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to keep the footage moving. That's key. You got to keep the footage moving in order to stay in business. I love working the mules and I love being with them, and they're real efficient for most jobs, but every once in a while they need a little help, and you've got to do something that's efficient and to keep the wood moving, to keep the footage moving. And that's what we're doing here today with the tractor. So, you know, it might not be pure or conventional as some people might want to say, but we're doing what we have to do to keep the footage moving. And Skylar, he does a good job on the tractor. He's a real good operator. He's real good help, y'all. Enjoy working with him. Pretty good load. That's about all the little tractor wants. This is right around 100 horse. I'm not exactly sure exactly how much it is, but it's right around 100 horse tractor, and that's about all it wants on the front end loader. And it's a good thing we're going uphill and not downhill, for sure. But I'm gonna walk up here as he's going out. I'm gonna walk up here and show y'all kind of what the ground is looking like. Because we've had just a little bit of rain here lately in Tennessee, and we needed it, y'all. Boy, it's been dry. But I want to show y'all the ground as he's going up through here with the tractor. He had to get out and clean his stick out. We're trying to be easy with the equipment, not tear nothing up. I always tell him, you know, when we're working, you know, it don't pay enough to justify tearing a lot of stuff up, because when you start tearing stuff up, it costs a lot of money. And every bit of work that we're doing and footage that we're turning, it cancels out our production. So he's learning that aspect of it too, which he's pretty good. He's slow and easy with stuff. He takes his time and he don't get in no hurry with nothing. So he's real good about that. He's better about it than I am. But this morning we had a couple smaller ones that we had to clear, a couple smaller logs to clear before he could get in there to that big tree. And he was packing them out 2 at a time with the tractor. And as we move into a skid steer, when we move into a skid steer, we'll do some of that, you know, all along with the skid steer packing out some logs. I'll get them out in the open with the mules where he can get to them easy. And then we'll use a skid steer to pack them out to the deck. And I'll show y'all the deck up there in a minute. We've got a pretty good pile of logs up there now. We should get about 6,000 feet this week for us, and that's just us working part-time in the evenings and on today, Saturday. We should get 3,000 feet today, or yeah, 3,000 feet, 2 1,500-foot loads, and we may have a few logs left that we will save till next week. But we're gonna get them all up there on the hill, and or we don't have to worry about them, you know, how much it rains. Because down here in this bottom, all through down in here, and especially right down there past that, where that little pond is, right down there past it is really wet. And we don't want to be down here when it really goes to raining. Of course, we don't have a whole lot more on this job. Best I can figure on my math, I think we liked about 10,000 more feet, roughly, when we get these out. So, I mean, you know, hopefully by Christmas we'll be done. And that's just us working part-time. And then we'll be moving on to something else. But I want to share these thoughts with y'all. you know, on how we're keeping the footage moving, you know. Like I say, I enjoy working the mules and I love the mules, and they're real efficient on most things that we do. But every once in a while, they just need a little help, and this is one time that they need a little help, because they sure don't need to be pulling up that grade. I don't know, maybe if I get down here, y'all can see it. But it's a pretty good little grade up through there, and it's a long grade all the way up there to the deck. It's probably 150 yards or so, and that's just too much on the mules, especially one pair. Now, if it had two pair, it'd be different. Two pair could walk on out with them, but one pair just can't do it, you know. And I don't want to spoil my mules and be too hard on them, so we're using a tractor. But anyway, we'll have a little bit more footage here in just a little bit. We've got a tree up there on the top that we need to drag out and get it out there on the deck. It's pretty good size, and then we're going to start cross hauling logs on the log truck and get the log truck loaded, and I'll try to video some of that for y'all where y'all can see it. All right, I'm up here on the deck now. We've got a pretty good little deck of logs here so far. We've got that one big one over there that we pulled out with the tractor. The rest of them he was able to pack out on the loader. But we got this little deck of logs here, and here's Red, the log truck. We're gonna get it turned around and start loading some logs. I'm afraid that one over yonder, that big one, we're gonna have to cross haul it on, because I don't believe the tractor will pick it up, nor will the side loader load it. He's over there right now getting a big long 12-footer. At least he's gonna try to. I don't know if it'll pick it up or not. That's a big log over there. And then we got some more right over in there we need to get. I'll try to get some footage of us getting them out. I do got the log wagon in the woods. It's sitting right up there, and we've used it very little so far, but I do want to use it some to try to get used to using it and learn how to use it better and whatnot. But the next thing I'm gonna do here, y'all, I'm gonna get the truck turned around and get it set up so he can load this big one for us. All right, y'all, we got this big log up here that Skylar drug with the tractor. He wasn't able to pack it out. The tractor won't lift it, it's just too big. So we're gonna cross haul it on the log truck. I know y'all seen us do this before, but we're gonna show you on this one, get it on the truck, and then we'll start loading some of the others. I hope he's got enough room to back up back there. There's a fence back there, and hoping he's got enough room. This one had a lot of swell in it, so I had to offset my cross haul chain pretty good. All right, there it is. It's on there. I'll get him to come around on the back and take and shove it forward just a little bit, and then we'll be in good shape. All right, hey y'all. Okay, so we're back up here in the corner working on getting this big red oak out. That's a mighty fine one. Skylar's got one of the uppercuts he's going out with now, and we're gonna have to drag this one out. I'm pretty sure the loader ain't gonna pick it up. So we'll try to get a little footage of us dragging this thing out. It's got a lot of footage in it, ain't no doubt about it. And what I was telling y'all earlier, if we cut anything under 10 foot long, we lose our prime grade at the mill. You'll still get #1 grade, but we lose the prime. For instance, if you have a log that is over 10 foot long and over 18 inches around, which these will be, because these logs are 28, 29 inches on the small end. But if you got a log over 10 foot long, 10 foot or longer, and over 18 inches around, we get prime plus pay, which bumps it up a grade even higher. So on these big logs that are real big, you want to try to cut them at least 10 foot. And if you can cut 12, you know, you're better off, and you can stack the footage on the truck a lot better. So that's what we're doing, and that's one reason why I elected to use a tractor instead of the mules. Just because, you know, these things are so cut and picking big, and I just didn't want to, you know, I didn't even want to try it with the mules, you know, by themselves, because it's too much load. You know, once my colts comes along and I get them broke and get them where they can pull, you know, and they can all four work together, 4 mules could handle that log right there, no problem. And up here it's kind of flat, you know, this area. Right here, this is our landowner's barn. We're right here in the corner of the section of timber that we're cutting. We still got a few trees right along in there. We got to work our way back around and over into that area, and then we're going to be done. And then we got some line trees over on the fence that we're going to have to take the fence down and get the line trees. But we're hoping, Lord's willing, we're hoping we'll be done here by Christmas time, maybe. It just depends. We don't break nothing, everything hangs together. But I was kind of wanting to show y'all how we were doing this, you know, making things work even under adverse conditions. So I'll show y'all us getting this one out, and then once we get this one out, I'll show y'all a little bit more of us loading the truck and how we do that. Here's Skylar coming out with that big 12-footer. It's pretty heavy. This is where it's nice to have a machine, ain't no doubt about it. It's kind of rare that we have to have a machine, but it's nice when we, you know, when we need it. It's nice to have good friends and family that'll let us use, you know, their stuff to help us out. I can't thank Mr. Howard enough. He's been good to me. Really thankful. We'll have to cross all this one onto the truck for sure. The tractor ain't gonna pick it up, and the side loader won't either. All right, y'all, here comes Skylar. He's gonna start loading these bigger logs. We've already got one on there. We cross hauled it just like we showed y'all earlier. And y'all seen that before. But any of you's got any questions about it, I'll be glad to answer them for you. But anyway, he's gonna go ahead and start making this load up for us now. Thought I'd try to get a little footage of this so y'all could see it too. He's gonna have to shove that big log over against the stakes, buddy. Thing hanging him back there on the back a little bit. There he goes, he got it. Well, he's a pretty good operator. He knows how to use his hand. I keep leaning with him. I keep leaning the camera. All right, now he's going to shove them over. Or at least I think he is. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Let's go up here and look at his load and see if he's got it about where we want it. Yeah, that's what I thought. This one here could come on over. This one on this side. I'll tell him to scooch it over right quick. I'll be right back. All right, here you go. He's gonna scoot it over. Let's get him going and scoot this one over too. It's got so much swell in it. Don't matter how we do it, he ain't gonna get on there straight. These logs are real rough. We're gonna try to build a load up. We tried to stage these logs up here to where he wasn't having to turn and back up and all that good stuff so much. That's something you need to do, you know, when you're running machines. Well, anything really, just to be efficient. I think he got his forks in the dirt too much. One of them forks is bent. Mr. Howard told me that he was lifting a log up with it here a while back and got it under a root and got it hung a little bit, and when he picked up, it picked the back of the tractor up and bent the fork a little. So we're kind of dealing with that. Ain't no real big deal. Makes it a little more aggravating, but it ain't a big deal. Heck, we're just thankful to get to use it. It has helped us out a bunch today, y'all. I tell you, it has helped us out a whole lot, being able to get this big pin oak and stuff out of this bottom down here. Plus, we've been using it to load with, so it's helped us a lot. Real thankful for it. And one of these days before long, we're gonna get us a skid steer, and when we do, we'll be able to do all this on our own without having, you know, anybody help us. Maybe. Or every once in a while, a fella just needs a nudge, if you know what I mean. I left them trip standers down on that side so he could load them bigger logs a lot easier. Of course, we had to load that one big one. You know, we had to cross haul it. Y'all seen that. I'm gonna try to get him to put it all the way up against the standards over here if we can. It was one of them logs that busted, split. Let me see if I can get this limb out. We don't need that mess in there. Oh yeah. It's gonna slide right in there, I think. I hope. Maybe it'll stay there. Put him a little log under it and that'll hold it. Alright, he's gonna get him one of them smaller ones and put it right up in that hole there to keep it from rolling back. We try to minimize air gaps on the truck as much as we can to stack the footage on. He's having to be particular because of them forks. But I'll tell you what now, and this is just my opinion, and it ain't cause he's just mine, I'm just telling him this cause he deserves it. He's a good operator, y'all. He just takes his time, you know. He takes his time, he's easy with stuff, and he's real good with his hands, you know, smooth. He's a real good operator. You give credit where credit's due, and he deserves it. Of course, he's been running equipment all of his life. It's starting to rain on us. It's been raining off and on all day. Perfect. He's gonna pack it in there. It's good to go. Let me put the standards up and we'll be right back with you. I got the side standards, trip standards put back up. I hadn't put the pipes back in it yet because he's got pretty good sizing over there. He needs to load and we don't want to have to lift it no higher than he's got to. So hopefully I can video him getting that one on. It's a relief, to be honest with you. It's a relief to get these logs out because these are some of the last of the biggest timber that's on this job. The rest of it that we got left is pretty normal sized timber, and it's up here on the hill on top, you know, so we ain't got to worry about getting stuck. And we ain't got to worry about the mules having to, you know, work so hard trying to get it out. We'd have never got these logs out with the mules. They just is too big. It'd have took 4 mules. And in some situations, it takes 6. You know, the timber gets too big. These logs are heavy. Lord, they're heavy. He'll keep working at it though, he'll get it. He's sharp as a tack, I'll give him that. This is what you call doing a big job with with a little bit less than desirable equipment as far as loading. You know, these things are heavy. Which the cross hauling ain't too bad. I mean, you cross haul them on there no matter how big they are. And we might have should have cross hauled this one that he's putting on here now. It's a little much, but maybe he can get it. If he can't, we can load it on the next load cross hauling. Ain't no big deal. It makes some pretty 12-foot lumber, don't y'all think? I'll try to get him doing this one, and I'll try to get y'all some video a little bit later after we get the load just about finished off. He's gonna go up there and use a load to help him kind of tweak it up a little, if it will. Sometimes this trick works and sometimes it don't. This is where patience is a virtue, and I'll have to say he's got probably more patience than anybody I know. There he goes, he's getting it now. Yeah, patience is a virtue here. You kind of use a load to help you get it up, you know, leverage, because you got more tilt hydraulic. You can tilt more than you can lift, if that makes any sense, with most tractors and loaders. There you go. There you go, son. I told y'all he's a good operator. He's as good as I know. I'll put him against any 40-year-old. All right, he motioned to me. He wants to push it forward to get the load pushed up on the steers. And that's smart. That'll make the trucking going down the road a lot better. He's right. I wasn't really paying much attention, but it does need to go forward a little. We like to get them, we like to have them a little bit ahead of the back axle there. That'll push weight up on your steers, and it'll keep it from being squirrely going down the road. He's drove the truck some too, so he knows what it feels like when you don't have the load balance and everything, you know. So that kind of helps him learn what he's doing as far as the loading and all that mess. And I want him to learn every bit of the operation. I'm sure one day he's going to be a boss man, and probably a lot more important than I'll ever be. But him being a boss later on and being successful, it starts right here, in my opinion. Let me turn this thing off for a second, and I'll be back with y'all in a minute. We'll video finishing the load off. Now we are done with this load. We've got it loaded on the truck. Just thought I'd show it to you right quick. It ain't the prettiest load. These big loads got a lot of swell in them. It's hard to get them on there just right, but Skylar done a pretty good job nonetheless. But anyway, so now then we've got those big logs out of that bottom. That's a big relief for us. For real. We're glad to do that. And again, Mr. Howard, if you're watching, thank you. Okay, so now we got to get this load to the mill. It's raining. The mill yard down there is a soupy mess. We was there at lunch, and I'm gonna carry this one in on my own. Skylar helped me last time, but I'm gonna carry this one in. He went to take the tractor back to pa-in-law, Poppy, Mr. Howard, and he's gonna do that, and I'm gonna haul this load in. So we're gonna divide and conquer. Anyway, thank y'all for watching, and hopefully within the next couple videos I'll have y'all some more of the mules. I know the mules are more popular compared to equipment and stuff like that, and I hadn't forgot about y'all, but I also don't want to just crowd y'all with the same old boring stuff all the time either. You know, I want to show y'all what it takes to make it go, and that's what we did today. Moving footage, y'all. That's what it's about. Y'all have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.